LOZ, we gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah, hey, yeah. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah. Bring it out. LOZ, we got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. We gotta wake up the sheep. My people falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets. We trying to build up the nation. We patient. My people been facing defeat. We teaching repentance. We deep in them trenches. You know that we bringing the heat. We battling demons like every day. Waking up all the people. We set them straight. Keep our head in them scriptures. We meditate. All in the truth. I can't back down and hesitate. All praise to the Most High. With it, no cosign. With it, keep the law. We gon' levitate. We them Jews that we no lies. With it, that we won't die. With it, for the truth, I'm a heavyweight. We live in this spiritual warfare. We all gotta gather together. We do that, then we got the nations in warfare. We a separate nation, no explanation. My people, they need to listen. Crunch time, yeah, time is ticking. For the truth, I'm a servant. No stopping, we working. Just hoping my people will see the mission. So we gotta bring it out. Bring that 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 out. I say them Hebrews gotta show. Bring that out. Get your knowledge on the go. Bring that out. Wisdom help the nation grow. Bring that out. Get the truth in the form of a show. Bring that out. All of our soldiers amazing. All of our captains be leading. LOZ bringing that light. Shining on what we're achieving. Wake up the people that's sleeping. Wake up that nation like coffee. Wake up and take up your cross beat. Hold up, Pastor, man, you lost me. You still be teaching at Christmas? I'm sure that you know that it's pagan. Look how we packing the prisons. Blatantly destroying our nation. Single parent home is definitely becoming our swag. Then we send our children through the same system, pledging their allegiance to flags. Bring that out. 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 I say them Hebrews gotta show. Bring that out. Get your knowledge on the go. Bring that out. Wisdom help the nation grow. Bring that out. Get the truth in the form of a show. Bring that out. Yeah. LOZ. We gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah. Hey, yeah. Bring it out. We got the truth when we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it.
It's the Bring It Out radio show, family. We're about to get started. We already got 12 in the room. We're doing good today. I guess y'all want to talk about it. It's the Bring It Out radio show. I'm your chief minister. Stay tuned.
People falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets. We trying to build up the nation. We patient. My people been facing defeat. We teaching repentance. We deep in them trenches. You know that we bringing the heat. We battling demons like every day. Waking up all the people. We set them straight. Keep our head in them scriptures. We meditate. All in the truth. I can't back down and hesitate. All praise to the Most High. With it, no cosign. With it, keep the law. We gon' levitate. We them Jews that we no lies. With it, that we won't die. With it, for the truth, I'm a heavyweight. We live in this spiritual warfare. We all gotta gather together. We do that, then we got the nations in warfare. We a separate nation, no explanation. My people, they need to listen. Crunch time, yeah, time is ticking. For the truth, I'm a servant. No stopping, we working. Just hoping my people will see the mission. So we gotta bring it out. Bring that 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 out. I say them Hebrews gotta show. Bring that out. Get your knowledge on the go. Bring that out. Wisdom help the nation grow. Bring that out. Get the truth in the form of a show. Bring that out. All of our soldiers amazing. All of our captains be leading. LOZ bringing that light, shining on what we're achieving. Wake up the people that's sleeping. Wake up that nation like coffee. Wake up and take up your cross beat. Hold up, Pastor, man, you lost me. You still be teaching at Christmas? I'm sure that you know that it's pagan. Look how we packing the prisons, blatantly destroying our nation. Single parent home is definitely becoming our swag. Then we send our children through the same system, pledging their allegiance to flags. Bring that out. 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 I say them Hebrews gotta show. Bring that out. Get your knowledge on the go. Bring that out. Wisdom help the nation grow. Bring that out. Get the truth in the form of a show. Bring that out.
Yeah. LOZ. We gotta bring it out. Wake up the lost sheep. Yeah. Hey. 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 Yeah. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey. Yeah. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, yeah. Bring it out. LOZ. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. We gotta wake up the sheep. My people falling asleep. We gotta show now. We put in that work in and we put the work in the streets. We trying to build up the nation. We patient. My people been facing defeat. We teaching repentance. We deep in them trenches. You know that we bringing the heat. We battling demons like every day. Waking up all the people, we set them straight. Keep our head in them scriptures, we meditate. All in the truth, I can't back down and hesitate. All praise to the Most High. With it, no cosign. With it, keep the law, we gon' levitate. We them truths, there ain't no lies. With it, we won't die. With it, for the truth, I'm a heavyweight. We live in this spiritual warfare. We all gotta gather together. We do that, though. We got them nations in more fear. We a separate nation, no explanation. My people, they need to listen. Crunch time, yeah, time is ticking. For the truth, I'm a servant. No stopping, we working. Just hoping my people gon' see the mission. So we gotta bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go. Bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. Hey, bring it out. We got the truth and we bring it out. We cannot lose when we bring it out. We making moves when we bring it out. LOZ, let's go.
Bring
it out. Ken.
Bring that out.
All right, family, we got 18 in the room. I think we could do 20. We're gonna start this at 20. We got 18 in the room. We need 2 more to get in where you fit in so we can start the show. This is the Bring It Out radio show. We're gonna talk about it.
Bring that out. 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 I say them Hebrews gotta show. Bring that out. Get your knowledge on the go. Bring that out. Wisdom help the nation grow. Bring that out. Get the truth in the form of a show.
It's the Bring It Out radio show. I'm your minister, Minister Shalom, Shalom to the family in the building. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about it. You've seen the title. I'm your minister, Minister Shalom. I have with me the captain of captains, Captain Amawan Bunloya Bunya Sharala. Got a baddest DJ in the land. My DJ Baruch 4-in-1. And the topic tonight is I just want to be his wife. And I got a special guest. I got the minister of argument and reasoning, the master of disaster, Mr. Separated, right? Mr. Set Apart, right? I got my big cap in the house. Captain, bring him up. Bayat Kazakh.
Khan, hallelujah.
Man, it's going to be a special one. I don't know what made us do it. I don't know what made them do it. How they let us all in the line at the same time. I don't know what made them do it. I don't know why they let him do it. Well, you better tell a friend to log in. Tell me you better get on the Bring It Out radio show today. Caps are in here, and I'm on for the ride, man. I got a set of captains in the room today. I'm excited about it. But we're gonna talk about it. The topic is I just want to be his wife. And that statement is put out there because we're going to address this topic. You know, this is what's going on in Israel. It's going on in Israel. It's going on in the world, but it's also going on in Israel. And Israel, we should know better. You see, we see things happen in the world. We should not be trying to emulate what's going on in the world. When we come to the truth, we're responsible. We should know better. But oftentimes we come into the word, carrying the word with us in a knapsack, thinking that we're going to find a place to put worldly activities into the truth. And it doesn't have a place, right? It don't have no place in here, right? In this world, oftentimes we have, a daughter, right. She grows up to a certain age, right? And when she gets to a certain age, she wants to have a husband, right? She wants to have a companion, a partner, right? Which is the natural use of a woman. However, what happens is the whole wife part is left out, right? The wife attributes and work and thought pattern and mentality is not passed on because of the curses, because of the generational curses that were passed on from grandma and ma and now me, right? That's passed on through generations. We never get back to that root of what it is to be a wife. So the name of the topic of the show is I just want to be his wife, right? With parentheses on his wife, because that's the understanding. His wife, meaning that you are dedicated and you're molded, right, to him, right, whoever that his is, right? That's custom, right? That's custom made, right? I can't wear another man's garment, man. I got to wear my own garments, right? Because my garments, they made for me. They made how I get down, my attire, right? You wearing another man's garments like walking in another man's shoes. It don't make sense.
Wearing another man's drawers, right?
That's just nasty, right? So the idea is being his wife, whoever that his is, that's a tailor-made situation. But we want to broad brush this thing. We want everyone, it's like there's some sort of competition going on, right? It's some sort of game out there. So we want to address this. We want to go into it. We want to understand it. We want to explore some differences. We got some topics we're going to talk about. We want that chat to be lit. We will answer your questions in the chat as long as your questions are a question worth answering. All right. We will bring you on the floor. If you got a good point to make, we'll bring you up on the, you know what I mean? We'll throw the link your way.
You just can't come with no madness.
Right.
We don't teach Kevin Samuels garbage. So come up here with none of that stuff.
Right.
Don't come with anything outside of the topic.
Right. We're not dealing with Kevin Samuels. And I want to say the topic is not polygyny or polygamy. That has nothing to do with it. All right. We don't debate polygyny or polygamy because that's already in the Bible. That's not even a discussion today. The discussion is being a wife, right? To a husband, a man, right? What is that marriage? You know, there's a technical term in construction when you marry two things together, right? That means you have two items, and when you put it together, they become stronger, right? That's in engineering. When you marry, these, like in woodwork or carpentry, and you marry these things together, and then they become stronger. They don't become weaker, right? And oftentimes we kind of skating on what that word means, and we have our own agendas. Now, if you got two items that have their own purposes, how are you gonna put them together?
Right.
Their purposes are to come together, right? The whole reason why you made this peg was to go into this hole, right? It was constructed to fit in this space. If it doesn't fit in the space, or if there's a gap, or it's loose, then it's weak, and it will not accomplish what it was set out to be, right? So we're going to explore that. We're going to explore certain sisters want husbands, but they don't want to be a wife. They want somebody to conform to them. They don't want to conform. They don't want to be the feminine to the masculine. They don't want to conform to the person that they're being with, right? They want something to fit in their life, right? They're looking for something to fit in their world.
I like what you said right there, because it's something I examined. Lately I've been reading a lot of scriptures I haven't read in a while over again. And something I noticed in Genesis was when the Most High created Adam and he exalted Adam, gave him the breath of life, he gave him the commandments. Adam had the rank, he had the instruction, and he had the Most High, but he was still lacking something. Right? No, he was still lacking what? That perfect custom helmet that was fit for him.
Right, that helped.
I think that's heavy. This topic is heavy.
That helped.
He had all of it.
He had that.
The big three.
He had the wisdom, the knowledge, the understanding. He knew how to till the ground. There was no man to till the ground. He brought Adam, he knew how to work the earth. And what he needed was help. That help got to be for him, not him for her, right? That's confusion, right? Listen, Big Cap, talk to me, Big Cap. I got you in the building. I'm excited.
Can I be heard?
I don't hear you, though. You got to unmute yourself.
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
Oh, you got to put your volume on.
Okay, no, you good. I hear you on this side.
You going to put your volume on?
All right, let me know when you're ready.
Good. I hear you on this side.
You going to put your volume on?
Okay. Good. I hear you on this side.
Go ahead.
Oh, you want to hear from my
side?
Okay.
Go ahead.
There's echo.
Slack it, Cap. I think we got it now.
Shalom. Good. Big up to the chief minister. Big up to the captains of captains. All right. Thought for inviting me on. I'm honored to be considered. Something stood out to me as well. You mentioned the peg and the hole. All right. And that's something we can touch later on. Our basic anatomy, right, puts us in the places where we should be. That tells a story of man and woman and the roles that we are to play.
Absolutely, Cap. Absolutely. I'm feeling you on that, man. When you break it down to the simplest form, it's just, the Most High is science. He's not religion, right? The Most High is mathematics. He's not feelings, right? Things work the way they work, and they have to work because they add up, right? They make sense, right? They equal out with the Father. He's not about uneven, being unevenly yoked. He's not about unjust
weight.
Unjust weights. That's not what the Father's about. So if this is an unjust weight situation, it's not going to work well, right? No matter who wants it to work, right? And we suffer this thing in the world, and we come to the truth. We're supposed to get this down pat. We're supposed to see this. We're supposed to see it. That's why we're in the light. The light gives you the ability to see. See means to understand. If you don't understand, then are you really walking in the light? Right? We're gonna get into the nitty-gritty, man. Let's get Colossians 3, verse 17. It's gonna be that type of conversation. All right, it's gonna be that. It's gonna be a lot coming out.
The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 17.
Everybody in the chat, if you hear us clearly, I want you to put a 1 in the chat and make sure that we're coming through clear. Go ahead.
And whatsoever you do in word or deed,
I want you to put a 1 in the chat.
whatsoever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Adonai Yahushai, giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Him.
Right. So first and foremost, everything we do it in the name of Mashiach Yahushai to please the Most High. Right. The scriptures say, "Seek ye the kingdom of heaven first, and all things shall be added unto you." So what we're doing here is not for the man praise, right? It's not for woman degradation. It's for the building of the nation. Either we get it right or we suffer. Most High doesn't allow the children of Israel, his children, to thrive in foolishness, right? We will suffer if we don't get it right. So it's better that we get it right. We work together to get this right, right? To form these bonds, these unions. Because when you go to the smallest common denominator of the nation, the smallest denominator is the marriage, right? That's the smallest denominator, because you can't be a nation by yourself, right? He told Abraham that I'm going to make you the father of many nations, right? He had to give him Sarah for him to do that, right? He had to give him Keturah, right? He had to give him Hagar. He couldn't do that by himself, right? Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 4. Thus said Yahweh of hosts, the power of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I caused to be carried away from Jerusalem unto Babylon. Build ye houses and dwell in them. Plant gardens and eat the fruit of them. Take ye wives,
right,
and beget sons and daughters.
Come on.
And take wives for your sons, and give your daughters to husbands, that they may bear sons and daughters, that ye may be increased there and not diminished.
Right. So having a wife is part of the duty in this captivity, because this is a long captivity. You know, this is a long walk. You know, unless you're a eunuch, which understand that's a different thing for a different time, right?
That's not for us though.
Right. I don't think nobody's eunuchs around here. You know what I mean? I don't think anybody got that spirit, right? And if you got that spirit, more power to you, right? We're not speaking against it, but there's no eunuchs here, right?
Right.
Here we're dealing with men that want their wives. We want women that want husbands. But two things has to happen. Men have to be husbands, and women have to be wives. And that's where we fall off. Because sometimes the men, we forget to be a husband, right? Right. The word husbandman in the scriptures, right, refers to, matter of fact, let me get that. Give me husbandman. We're going to define husbandman so we can understand the parallels in the mind of the Most High, because we want to do things his way. So what is a husbandman in the scriptures, right?
I feel like I know you're talking about Proverbs, right?
Yeah. It's going into him, into telling the land. All right, my cap looking it up. He gonna bring it out, right? He gonna bring it out. He looking it up for us right now. Right. Matter of fact, I was gonna pull the husbandman. Give me the diction, the blue letter.
Salakia.
Because I know when we start talking about the wives and the sisters, they say, "Oh, you never talk about the men." So we're gonna start
Salakia, Chief. Can I be heard?
Cap, I don't hear you. You muted? Was he muted? Cap? Yeah.
Khan.
Khan, there you go. There you go.
Khan, I have husbandmen out of the Webster 1828 dictionary.
Khan.
Husbandman, a farmer, cultivator, or tiller of the ground, one who labors in tillage.
Okay. So now let's look at that definition. A farmer, a laborer, one who tills the ground, right? So When you till the ground, you're looking to get an increase, right? You're looking to get the nourishment. You're looking to build. You're looking to add. You're looking to you're working towards some goal, right? That husband, right? There's not a coincidence that they have the same name, the farmer and the husband, because that's his job. His job is to make sure that this family increases, that this family builds, that is cultivated, that is kept, that is tilled. Tilled means to take care of, right? That the things are being trimmed that need to be trimmed. Water is being watered where it needs to be watered, right? The weeds are being pulled out where they need to be pulled out. That's what the husband's job in the household is. He's supposed to put the house in order. That's his job. He's got to till the home like it's a ground, right? He has to take care of it and make sure and look over everything that needs to happen within these walls. Does he have to do everything? He has to make sure everything is done, right? Right. Give me that in Sirach quick before I go. You got a precept?
I have a precept right here. I remember Captain
Okay.
Bayoff eloquently. I don't know if you would like to break the scripture down, but I remember back in like 2018 or 19, Captain Bayoff brought the scripture out, and it was heavy because he brought out the example how the man or the husband is like the farmer, right?
That's right.
And how he can't be lazy because he has to constantly be on work to yield fruit. You don't know how much fruit he's going to yield, but he constantly has to be on the job. But a lot of times our brothers, they're like this scripture right here, Proverbs 20:4. The sluggard will not plow by reason of cold. When there's a little event that happens,
Yeah.
or
I'm gonna let the captain, man.
he's here.
Khan, hello, yeah. But can I be heard? I wanted Captain Number One to finish what he was saying though, and then I'll jump in. Cap, I can't hear you.
When you'll see thorns, when you see like little events come, you'll make excuses to not tend to the ground or tend to that woman or whatever order he needs to establish for that household.
Okay.
But a farmer, they're constantly on the job throughout the year just to get that little increase,
Right.
just to get the result that he desires. So that's what I was gonna say.
That farmer, when things look worse, he go harder at it.
Right.
He don't back over and say, "Man, this place look crazy. I'm gonna sit back here and just let it run."
I'm going to Publix.
I'm gonna go to look at all those weeds. I'm gonna go and lay down in the bed because he know that if he don't take them up, they're gonna overtake him.
Right.
Either he overtakes them or they're gonna overtake him. I'm gonna say nothing else.
Khan. So, upon reading the scripture, the way I saw it was, there's certain times when you have to handle certain adversities. And a lot of times as men, we like to, just put things off. We don't want to deal with certain things right away, right? And that's because of the cold. The sluggard will not plow by reason of the cold. You have to go out and plow, right? You have to go out and take care of business. You have to handle the situations, as they come, Therefore shall he beg in harvest and have nothing, right? What's that begging going into? Now you're sitting in council. Now you're crying for the chief. You need your captain to come straighten things out. When you could have been handled the situation, you could have been dealt with things the right way. You could have nipped certain things in the bud, but now you're begging. You're not going to reap and harvest. You're going to have nothing. And that also goes into dealing with your woman according to knowledge, right? My father has what you would call a green thumb, He's always planning things, always growing things. And there's something to say with fertilizer, right? Fertilizer, if you apply the right amount of fertilizer to your crop, it will grow. It will grow fast. It will give you big yields. But if you apply too much, it will burn your crops. If you apply too little, it will have little effect. So you also have to learn how to deal with things as they come and know who you are talking to, who you are dealing with. Con.
I wanted to bring something that just came to my memory
Huh.
as Captain is explaining this. I remember a brother had made a post, on Facebook
Uh-huh.
a couple weeks ago, and it was like a lot of times brothers are saying they don't want to deal with dragons,
Right.
as if there's not going to be problems dealing with our sisters. The
Okay.
problems are always going to be there, But when you look at these stories about how that knight will fight the dragon, he fight the dragon for what? You don't fight the dragon for naught.
Right.
He fight the dragon for the reward at the end.
Mhm.
Just like this husbandman, he go through all of that for what? The reward at the end.
Mhm.
So when you see a lot of our brothers, they say that they don't want no woman that's the dragon and stuff. You gotta fight the dragon. You gotta fight these spirits for what? For that reward. That's why you fight it. So that's just an example. That's an example.
Salakia.
There's no victory without a fight. Right. You can't claim victory if you're not willing to go into the battle. Right? We know what kind of God we serve. What kind of God do we serve? He said, I am a man of war. Yah is my name. So why you think everything just gonna be smooth and gravy for you, right? Like you just want everything just be, like instant microwaved and instant coffee and all that kind of stuff. You want everything just be laid out for you. That's not the power that you serve. You gotta earn your peace, right? There's peacemakers, but there's also a peacekeeper, right? Right. So that peace just doesn't happen. You have to make it happen, right? You have to build. You have to put this family together and construct it and establish. He said, he seeketh peace and ensues it. I want to get that scripture too, right? He seeketh the peace and ensues it. That means he makes sure that peace happens. That's what a good husband does. He makes sure that progress happens. He makes sure he don't wait to see if, right? Some people say, well, her father taught her well, that when I get her, it's going to be easy street. No, it's not.
You gotta push it.
No, it's not. You got to establish your house. What peace you have, what peace you don't have, is up to you. Right? What you got on the screen?
Just to land me back, we don't say piggyback, we land me back, right?
Come, we land me back
what
around
you were
here.
saying, that this was designed from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
When the Most High told Adam what he's gonna go through the ground and for the sweat and tears and etc.
Mm-hmm.
In Sirach 40:1, it says, "Great travail is created for every man."
How many men?
Every man,
Oh, man.
and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam.
So why you want things easy for you? Right? Listen, man. He gave us wide shoulders so we can bear things. Right? He would have gave you some slim feminine shoulders if you couldn't hold no weight. Hold the weight. Stand in your square. Man up. Right? I'm gonna get that too in Job, right? Right? Sometimes you gotta man up. Oh no, finish that verse. The verse has more meat in it. So like
Great travail is created for every man, and a heavy yoke is upon the sons of Adam.
go ahead.
From the day that they go out of their mothers,
From the day they're born, go ahead.
out of their mother's womb, till the day that they return to the mother of all things.
Which is the earth, because the Most High, he brought man out of the dust of the earth. So the earth is the mother of all things, right? So by the day you go back into the earth, you got to deal, you got to fight, you got to battle, you got to be ready, right? You got to be ready. So I'm going to talk to the husbands first, because I'm going to talk to the wives now. I'm going to talk to the women that want husbands, but have not really considered what it is to be a wife and what changes. That's a lifestyle change. You cannot be the same. That's why your name change, your frame change, right? Because you start picking out children, you don't even look the same, right? Nothing ain't the same. Nothing don't work the same after
Still like a minister.
After cat been around. But anyway, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear my cat.
Go ahead.
Khan.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear me?
Come.
So I just wanted to point something out. At the beginning of the show, you mentioned this is not to tear down women, right? And it's very telling that you had to even say it, because we dealing with the men first. but we did not make a statement, oh, we're not here to tear down men. That lets us know, right, that from the day a woman was born, it has been ingrained in their psyche that they cannot be corrected, that they cannot be told any hard truth. They have to be prepped and pampered for it. Because we're talking about the men right now.
Con.
Well, we didn't make a disclaimer for the men though. All right.
Mhm.
I'm just putting that out there so
Real
everybody can see that. That's something that should be noticed.
Real talk. Because as men, everybody expects us to be prepared to be corrected.
Right.
And our daughters, like you said, are pampered and covered and understood instead of brought or corrected. And that has to change. If we won't get out of here if it doesn't, right? Our salvation depends on that change. Because until we can establish that change, our houses will ever be in jeopardy. And if our houses are in jeopardy, then our nation is in jeopardy. Right? It said, take you wives and build houses. It said, build houses and take you wives. And take wives for your children. So we got to understand, what is this wife thing that the Bible's talking about? What is it? How do you be that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But for us we can't even cultivate the wife if we don't put the husband, because we talked about the peg and the hole, right? That hole is made to match that peg, not the other way around.
Right.
Not the other way around. So us as men, we got to be whole. We got to be formed so that the woman could form to us. If we don't hold a form, they can't form to us. If we shape shifting, right? Like a shape shifting, like what, an X-Man? You know what I mean? we shape shifting. What day we like this, the next day we like, you don't know what you don't know what, she don't know what she's dealing with. How's she gonna conform to you if you have no form? You have to have a form to conform to. And once you walk, and that's what the Most High, that's what's beautiful about the Most High. That's what he did to us, man. He took us from all different walks of life, us men, and he gave us a form. He gave us something for us to conform ourselves to, which is him. We conform ourselves to the Most High God, Wahamashiach Yahweh. He's our form, right? So then when we get our wives, they got to conform to us, right? And that's what brings that household. That's what brings this to a fullness. Right? That's the only way, too. It can't go the other way. It's out of order, right? You were holding something.
The book of Job, chapter 38, and verse 3.
Right.
Gird up now thy loins like a man.
Like a what?
Like a man.
Come on.
For I will demand of thee, and answer thou me.
Right. I will demand of you. Gird up your loins like a man, and I will demand it. All my men on the line, we got to gird our loins up. What does that mean? You got to strengthen your paps, your midsection, right? That's physically and mentally. You got to be able to stomach things. You got to be able to take things in. See, a lot of times when people are nervous, they feel it in their gut, right? Oh, I don't know if I should do that. Oh, I don't know if I should say that. I don't know how that's going to make her feel. Oh, I might get into an argument. Oh, my stomach hurts. I feel sick. We read about that at Ahab, right? Ahab was so sick, he was laying in the bed. His wife had to say, what's wrong? What's going on with you? Right? Oh, I don't feel well today. You all right? You just wasn't girding your loins up like a man. You wasn't able to take that thing or that disappointment or whatever you had going on. And now your woman had to become your head and start to orchestrate your house. And what did it end up? Where did they end up? Right?
Both of them dead.
Both of them, right? In jeopardy of hellfire, in jeopardy of death. Both of them, right? Ahab and Jezebel, for those who know their history. Okay. So we have these examples in scripture how to persevere. But because of habits and society and the curses that was the root of this habits and this society, we're doing it backwards. We're thinking about it in the wrong. Our tables are turned. All right. I want that scripture too. Where it says, "He prepares a table in the midst of his enemy."
Oh, I got you.
As far as people read that scripture, don't know what it's actually talking about, right? So,
Savage scripture.
huh?
I said that's a tough scripture. Right?
Yeah. I'll show you this right here.
The book of Psalms, chapter 23 and verse 5.
Come on.
Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies.
Uh-huh.
Thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over.
Read on.
Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of Yahweh forever.
Right. So when you look at this scripture, this table that was presented, that was prepared. A table was prepared before me in the presence of my enemy. Meaning that when everything was around me to destroy me, the word was given to me, not secretly, in the open. Right there. The answers is right there. Everybody can look at it. Right? But you anointed my head. Right? Meaning that you gave me the understanding. You gave me the ability to look at this table and get something out of it. You didn't hide the table, but you gave me the understanding. Therefore, my cup runneth over. Therefore, I'm able to do more and abundantly. What am I getting? What is my cup running over with? Goodness and mercy. Right? Goodness and mercy. For how long? All the days of my life. If we stay according to the table. Right? What's the table? These verses, these scriptures, this wisdom, right? Proverbs 23:5, 23:6, Leviticus 19:7. That's a table. When you go and you could plot it. Everything is plotted, so you could find what you need when you need it.
Salaki.
It's all plotted out. That's why it tells us in it can be Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. 12 and 13, right? Duty of man, yeah, 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. That's why it says this.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
When it's all wrapped up, if you taking care of this table, go ahead.
Fear Yahweh
and
keep his commandments.
Go ahead.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole duty of man. Mm-hmm. Right? So we fear the Most High, we keep his commandments. That's our duty. So we follow according to the table. We got the blueprints, right? When you at a construction site, they pull the table out, they roll out the blueprints, so everybody knows what they got to do.
Okay. Salaki, Chief.
Down and analyze it. We could talk about it. How we interpreting the table, how we interpreting the blueprint. Then we got to go build. All right, we got to go work. Right, read on.
For Yahweh shall bring every work.
Every what?
Every work.
Right. So once you open up that plans, that table, you got to go work, because every work is going to be brought into what? Judgment. Every work. Read on.
With every secret thing.
Even when nobody saw it but you, or you think nobody saw it but you. Every work is going to be brought into what?
With every secret thing, whether it be good, whether it be evil.
So that's why we having this discussion. Even when nobody saw it but you. We want to bring every secret thing and put it on the table and see what is it good or is it evil. Mm-hmm. Right? Every
Salaki, Chief.
You know, that's crazy.
Every personal thing.
Can I be heard?
As I did yesterday in the Georgia YouTube channel, right? Mm-hmm. Where you're either going to be a vessel of honor or a vessel of dishonor. Okay. So you got to choose. You can't be both. You got to be either or with the Most High. So that just reminds me of that.
Salaki.
Let me get him a cap. Okay.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
I hear you. Hey, we hear you.
Can I call Ezekiel 2 and 6?
The book of Ezekiel, chapter 2 and verse 6.
Mm-hmm.
And thou, son of man, be not afraid of them. Rather be afraid of their words.
Listen, don't be afraid of your woman, and don't be afraid of her words. Read on.
Though briars and thorns be with thee,
and
thou doest dwell among scorpions, be not afraid of their words.
Read on.
Nor be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house.
Read on.
And thou shalt speak my words unto them.
Thou shalt speak whose words?
That's what's up.
And thou shalt speak my words unto them.
Whose words?
And thou shalt speak my words unto them.
See, that's where a lot of us go wrong, right? We get in the looks, we get in the stares, right? We getting all the talking. But as soon as we leave from the Most High's words, we're in trouble. You understand? And as crazy, right? As crazy as the word of Yah sounds, right? You ought to have faith in it and stand by it, because the whole world is against it.
Mhm.
You understand? The whole world is against, wives, submit yourselves to your husband,
Mhm.
right? Wives, obey your husband. The whole world is against that, right? But you can't be amazed at that thing, right? As long as you know you doing the work of Yah, you doing the will of Yah, you're not taking advantage of the situation, right? You are not using the law unlawfully,
Con.
right? You be bold and speak the Most High's words. Read on.
Whether they will hear, or rather they will forbear. For
Right.
They are most rebellious.
Right. That's all you got to do. Instruct. That's your job. Instruct. Whether they hear or forbear. All right. Come.
All praises, man. All praises. That's right on point. Like I told you, I got the big cap in the house. I mean, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're not going to sugarcoat this thing, because we got to get this right. If we don't get this right, we doomed, man. Maybe it'll be another generation. Maybe they'll get it right. Maybe our children's children will get it right. I want to see. I don't want to be in His kingdom too long. But I know what it takes for us to get out of here. What it takes is for us to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. Right. We got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves, because if at this rate, who knows that, the chief, I do a lot of counseling, marriage counseling, couples counseling. I try to bring Israelites together, not because I have some personal vendetta, but I know that the scriptures say we got to gather together, but he doesn't. There's only a couple ways we can gather together, right? How can man and woman gather together? Well, we could be brother, sister, right? We could be in a congregation, right? We could be husband and wife, right? I mean, we don't have that many different ways to gather together. And the more covenants we made with each other, that means we're going to stick together, right? We need to not just come together, but we need to stick together. We need to have a reason that makes us work together. And a lot of times, that's the covenants that we share, right? That's the covenants that we share. The marriages, they say we pray together, we build sanctuaries. These things bring the nation together. We need to work together. That's what brings people together. Right? We need to have a purpose together, right? Build a home together, right? So how are we going to do this if we're at odds? If we can't seem to fit the peg in the hole, right? We can't seem to build. We can't get strong, because our husbands have not formed themselves, and our wives have not conformed to their husband. They want to be a wife, or do they? Because honestly, do you really, a lot of sisters, you got to ask yourself, do I really want somebody telling me what to do, telling me how to be? Do I want to give up my identity, right? Do I want to, think about it, sisters. I talk to my sisters for a minute. Let me talk to my sisters in the room for a minute. Sisters, daughters, can I talk to you guys for a moment? Think about this whole wife thing, man. I mean, do you really want to change everything who you are? Do you want to conform? Like, do you want to, maybe you like who you are, Maybe you're so used to who you are. You grew up with yourself.
Doing things your way.
And now you got to put away everything. For this guy who's coming here trying to change everything about you, right? Don't you feel like you're being robbed, right, of your identity? Right? Shouldn't he accept you the way you are? How they say in Christian church, come as you are, right? Isn't that a novel concept? But would that be marriage? Is the question. Would that be marriage? Would you really be a wife? Or would you be, give me something close to a wife. What do we call that? A girlfriend, a home girl, drop by.
Anything else I would say, it'll use foul language.
My captain's quiet in the church mouse right now. He don't want to say nothing, but I'm gonna say it. All right.
My own tongue condemneth thee.
Thou sayest. All right. You don't want to say nothing, quiet in the church mouse over here. All right. But the reality of it is this: what do you really want to be? Do you want to give up who you've been? And if you don't, then you really don't want to be a wife. You want to have a husband, right? Or you want to have a man in your life.
You like the ideal.
You like the idea. That's my man. You want the benefits of having someone, but you don't want to let go who you were in your single life, right? Because in your single life, that can't come to the marriage. You have to let it go, and that's probably scary, right? You know, that's probably like, man, you know, your girlfriends probably say, man, you used to be so cool, right? You get with this dude, we call you, you ain't answering the phone. You act like you all that, like you can't talk to nobody since you met that guy. You know, they have a problem with that. But is it Torah? Let's see. Let's get, you know, let's go.
I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, talk to them. Talk to your sisters and your daughters out here, your amas too. Talk to them. They need to talk to us.
A lot of things what you're saying, you remind me of one word. Put it on. Are you willing to sacrifice? Because a lot of things that we do on the earth, we sacrifice to get to the career we want.
What's that requires a sacrifice?
You sacrifice to get the things that we desire in the truth. Sacrifice to serve the Most High. Sacrifice. Are you willing to sacrifice? Because a lot of our people, they're comfortable to do things their style, the way they want to do it. Well, when you come to become a wife in the truth, or striving to be a wife in the truth, you can't do it the way you want to do it no more. It doesn't work that way anymore. Because like you said earlier, you have to be custom fit for that man, right? You got to be custom fit for that man. When the Most High gave Adam Eve, or Eve brought Eve to Adam, she had to be a woman after his mind. She had to be custom fit for Adam. So if you really desire to be that wife, and not the idea of it, or the sound of it, magic, a whole lot of magic.
Did they really understand?
Sacrifice.
You mentioned something, how Eve was custom made to Adam. Could you get that? Could we get that in Genesis? Could we take a quick look at Genesis, and then we're going to get a quick look at Malachi 2:14. But I want to
treacherous, right?
Right, but first give me Genesis.
I know what's
Genesis. Okay. Right. Let's take a quick look at that, because sometimes we read that and we kind of glaze over it. We don't really grasp what just happened there, right? What did the Most High just teach us about Eve and Adam, right? You go 2:18. We'll start there. We'll read a bit. Shalom. 2:18. We'll start there.
Okay, done. The book of Genesis. Oh, hold on. Okay, I thought Cap was talking.
Cap, we don't see you. Right.
Yeah, I got to be able to see him, so I know he's talking. The book of Genesis, chapter 2 and verse 18. And Yahweh said, "It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground,
there you go.
And out of the ground, Yahweh formed every beast of the field, and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam, there was not an helpmeet for him. And Yahweh caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam.
Right, come on.
And he slept. And he took one of his ribs.
And he did what?
Took one of his ribs.
Go ahead.
and closed up the flesh instead thereof.
And, right, go ahead.
And the rib which Yahweh had taken from man,
Took it from where?
taken from man,
Right.
made he a woman.
So now, what was woman formed from in the beginning? She was formed from the man, right? Therefore, like what we're bringing out, that your form is made to match the man that was already created and formed to do the will of Yah, right? Your form, you have to be a match for this person. You see, sometimes women, they say, well, I get a husband out in the world, right? You're the truth. How could you form yourself to one who doesn't trust in your God? How can you form yourself, right, to one that's not doing what is it that, something that you want to join yourself to,
I got a powerful scripture for you. What you say?
right? So we understand that it was something taken from man, and we're going to go a little deeper to, because it's metaphorical, it's spiritual, what that rib represents. And we know still what that rib represents that was taken from Adam, right? Right. We're going to go to what that rib represents, because this is not a physical thing that happened. This is a spiritual thing. That rib is spiritual, because where your ribs are, it's a protection, and it's called your heart. Now, your heart is a metaphor for a part of your mind where you make your decisions, where things make sense. You see, if you have a part of your mind where you reason, but your heart is where you've made a decision. Once you've made a decision, it rests in your heart of your mind, right? So the Most High, he breaks even down the mind. He breaks down the different parts of the mind. And your heart is where you agree. When you call something good, when you call something told, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that rib is near your heart, meaning that she calls good what you call good. That's why it tells us. All right, he's looking up the scripture, but I'm gonna pull a couple while you looking it up.
No, I'm good now.
Okay, you good? Okay.
One second, it's like
Mhm. I'm gonna go to. You go to Sirach while you looking it up.
Come on.
All right. I'm gonna read something. Cap is putting up some scriptures. Had a little technical difficulty over there, but I'm gonna read in Malachi 2 and 14. I want people to pay close attention to what it says here. It says, "Yet ye say, wherefore? Because the Lord hath been witness between thee and the wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yet is thy companion." Now, the word companion means that they link together, right? Companion means it links. If you look up the word companion, you know that it means that it locked together, right? And the wife of thy covenant, and covenant means a pact, a plan, a promise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll read on. And did not he make one? Who's the one? Adam. And yet had the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed. So with a residue of the Spirit, he made another one. The rib is talking about the residue of the Spirit. So it's not a physical rib, it's the Spirit that he made another one to match that Spirit.
I got a heavy hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's what this is all about.
Salaki.
To match that Spirit, you need to match it. If you're not trying to match it, then you're not trying to be a wife. Right?
Salaki.
You're trying to have a husband. Right? When you try to be a wife, you were busy trying to match his spirit. You're trying to match his way. That's why you are his wife. What you pull it up?
It's a heavy hitter scripture. Something Raphael said to Tobit, right? In Tobit chapter 6 and 17, and the devil shall smell it and flee away and never come again anymore. When thou shalt come to her, rise up both of you and pray to God, which is merciful, who will have pity on you and save you. Fear not, for she is appointed unto thee.
She's what?
Appointed unto thee
I mean, come on.
from the beginning.
From when?
From the
Mhm.
beginning.
I mean,
That's
are we
right.
making this thing up?
Right.
Are you reading it for yourselves?
The
It's hard to
angels lying.
see.
Right.
Is the angel lying to you now?
Right.
Or do you still believe that your husband got to do what you want him to do? Or be how you want him to be? Or go where you want him to go?
Right.
Salakia, can I be heard?
Or you understand that you're appointed to him? That he got to fulfill, right? Like you got to fulfill things, right?
Salakia. Khan, can you hear me?
Come.
Khan, Sirach 26 and 14. Sirach 26 and 14, and then we can hit 25 and 1. All right. Because that's very heavy what you're going into. All right. There has to be a connection. All
The
right?
book
It
of
has to
Sirach,
be-
chapter 26. Chapter 26 and verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of Yahweh,
Uh-huh.
and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed.
Right, Khan. So can you hear me?
Come.
All right. Because I see the mute on and off or whatnot. So
No,
like
you can. That's just what we can
Um,
hear you.
oh, okay, Khan. So the mind will instruct that's going into you guys being in agreement. Your wife, being a wife, you have to allow yourself to be conformed, not only physically, right, but mentally and spiritually to your husband. That's how the two become one, right? And there's also scripture talking about, well, select it. Let's hit 25. Let's hit 25 and 1. I don't want to rank and go all over the place.
The book of Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
In three things I was beautified,
Mm-hmm.
and stood
That's the
up
most high
beautiful,
being beautified.
both for Yahweh and men.
Uh-huh. That's the most high being beautified.
The unity
These
of brethren,
things, right?
the love of neighbors,
Uh-huh.
a man and a wife that agree together.
Right. So from the first day, listen, Chief Minister Shalomar taught me this scripture. And I never forgot it from the day he told me that these three things that the Most High God is beautified in, right? Man and wife being in agreement together. It won't work any other way. It won't work.
I mean, it's like, what does people say? What concord is there with the lion, right, and the lamb, right? They have to be in agreement to work together to build, to move forward. Or what you're gonna just scratch and kill one another. You're gonna destroy each other because you can't agree, right? All you're gonna do is, and that's all we see in this society. What do we see going on in this society? Don't we see this wrong in the society? But we're in the light. We're supposed to know better. Read the book of Sirach. Give me 726, right? We're supposed to know better. Where do you agree at? In the mind. Where's your spirit? In the mind. The residue of the spirit built Eve. Why is it a residue? Because the source of that spirit came from Adam. Adam's source of the spirit that's in Adam came from the Most High. He said, let's create man in our own image. Right? So these are the source. You got to track it back to the source. Right? Read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 7, verse 26.
Come on.
Hast thou a wife after thy mind? Forsake her not. But give not thyself over to a light woman.
Right. So don't just get a woman because what she look like. Women, don't think you're gonna rope a man in just because what you look like.
Right.
It's who you are that's gonna make that man want to be with you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's who you are that's gonna make that man want to sit down and sup with you and put the time in with you. Cause guess what? You ain't always gonna look the same. You know? And the reality of it, but we know you can see a husband and wife who agree together. People stand up and applaud, but two people stand up and say, "We've been married for 30 years." People in their spirit, they cheer that on, right? Because they know that's an accomplishment. We've been married for 50 years. They know that's an accomplishment. Somebody, you had to conform, right? But if that man is to the Most High, he can't conform to you. He's already conformed to the Most High.
Salakia, can I add to that, Chief?
You know, that's
Can I add to that, Chief?
Oh, Salakia. Go ahead, Cap.
Con. So you know what? And when you see these elder couples, right? When the elder women speaks that have been married for 50 years, 70 years, and all that, they're being asked what are the secrets, and every one of those women talk about taking care of their husband, loving their husband, right? Being there for them. That's it. You understand? And now the way the society is set up, right? You have women that are in those situations. They're being forced to, because, women are very molded by society and peer pressure. What's being accepted.
Evil angels, as a
right. Right. Because I guarantee you, if divorce was not accepted in society, the divorce rate wouldn't be as high as it is now. Because the statistics say about 80% are started by women. Mm-hmm. Now, if it was a shame for a woman to get divorced, you wouldn't see it like that. Mm-hmm. But because it is so accepted by society, right? It's accepted for a woman to rebel against her husband. And when and then you have this woman here that wants to obey her husband and follow his lead, right? She is ostracized if she, speaks in that manner, right? She is amazed, just like what was going on in what Peter was talking about, about the daughters that believed, that were like Sarah, right? Even calling him Lord. She didn't care about what other women were saying. It's in the scriptures for a reason.
That's right.
All right. Because women do care about society and how they are seen amongst other women.
Isn't that what social media is all about?
Oh, tell me about it. About what do you call it? The word slips me. I got a word for a phrase for it, but it just slips me right now.
The perception.
Validation. They Validation. They want to be validated.
I'm telling you. I hope y'all
validation
notes.
amongst the
Hope
sisterhood.
y'all keeping notes online. Cap speaking right now. I'm gonna shut up.
A lot of women put on a front for validation amongst other women, for what they have they man doing for them. It's not what they doing for their husband. Like Cardi B is famous for, WAP, but Offset put a video on Instagram of her sweeping and cleaning up. She ain't rapping about that. She ain't rapping about sweeping and cleaning up, picking up his clothes, because believe me, she doing that. Believe me, she picking up his clothes and cleaning up after him. Beyonce doing the same thing. She picking up Jay-Z clothes and cleaning up after him. I don't care how much money they got. Right? But the perception, because society makes that popular, it makes that cool. The same way for us men, it makes, getting fast money so we can buy all these things so we can impress women. Those are the things that are pushed on us. The same way those things are pushed on us is the same way that sense of power is pushed on our women.
That's a great point, Cap. And I you know, in this truth though, there's also some peer pressure, right? When it comes to the men and the women to look a certain way or to act a certain way. And sometimes we get it wrong in this truth because the scriptures tell us, give me that, I was going to Colossians. Give me Colossians 3:18. The scriptures told us something. And you often don't see, or brothers will hide this. Even though they might do it at home or they might do it in secret, they don't promote it, or they don't let it be seen because it's almost like a shameful thing. I'm going to show you something. Give me Colossians 3. You know, matter of fact, make it go right to point 3 and 19.
Come. The book of Colossians, chapter 3 and verse 18.
We're going to get right to it.
Verse 19.
Yeah.
Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them.
Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them. The reason why I went directly to this scripture was that peer pressure thing came to mind. Because it's almost cool in Israel to speak out against the woman, right? Or to say how wicked the woman is, right?
And I want to add
Like that just rolls off the tongue. Oh, this wicked woman is wicked, evil woman, wicked evil woman that we keep talking about. A lot of time, it's a reflection of our work. We're not doing the work, right? The woman wicked evil because you're not doing the work. You are allowing this wicked evil woman to dwell this way, and you're not helping her, right? You're not bringing her from that state to this state because you've it's almost like we built this expectation that, oh, that's our wife, she got to be wicked, right? Why? There's righteous women in the scriptures. Why can't your wife be one of the righteous women in the scriptures? Why can't this sister be a righteous woman from the scriptures? Why can't she be like Judy? Why can't you have that expectation for her?
Right.
We've been so built for the expectation of the woman to be wicked. We almost how do you say? You almost give them a pass to be wicked, right? We give them a sin pass. We say, well, you're the woman anyway. You wicked anyway. So when you do wickedness, that's just how you are, right? But that's not true. They have a responsibility to be right also. They have a responsibility to conform to the ways of the Most High, just like we have a responsibility to do so. And we should hold them accountable to that responsibility and encourage them to walk in that light and not be comfortable with the wicked woman, right? Matter of fact, I think if we did a better job at making that separation between the daughters of Zion, right, and the daughters that be lying, right?
Daughters of Babylon,
right? Right? If we made that separation more, at least the daughters of Zion would rebuke the daughters that be lying before we even say anything. We sit back and they watch them. Let them work their soul salvation out, just like we do with our brothers, right? We don't need a sister to tell us that a brother's wicked. We're gonna see the situation with the brother, and we're gonna check the brother,
right?
But our sisters don't check each other, right? They don't check each other. They just, oh well, that's her. Like, like what's the where? Like you were saying before, I guess we've been taught not to check them.
Right.
But Bob is right.
Let me just
We've been taught not to check the woman. That's what it is. We can't check them. Not even their own sisters can check them.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What you got?
Let me just add on to something to this, all right? Because it's heavy. What you're saying is heavy, right? And a lot of things Captain Bob saying is very heavy. Us as men, right? We got to be able to be circumspect, and it goes back to the scripture in Sirach chapter 37, whom to take counsel from. A lot of times, brothers be bitter because they take counsel from a bitter nigga. It's not a brother, it's a nigga. He's a nigga. A lot of times we take counsel from brothers who's either, they don't know how to talk to women. They're either struggling with their masculinity or sexuality, or they just, you know, they're just heartbroken.
Yeah.
A lot of times you see brothers, they act to take counsel from these type of men, and then once they get the counsel, they go out and exercise this wrong counsel, and now they're bitter towards women. Now, you know, the bitterment increases in Israel. So part of this is knowing who you take counsel from. You can't take counsel from somebody who's bitter, a brother who's struggling with his masculinity, and a brother who don't know how to talk to women. You got to talk to men who's been in the field, like Chief Minister Shalom or Captain Baaf Kazar, who got years of experience. So you'll see that a lot of times the brothers will take counsel from wrong men.
Brothers they be singing broken glass
Right.
by themselves in the house, man. Now, you know, it's so broken glass.
Oh, you got to give me another one.
You don't know that one? You don't know that one? I have know that one, right?
Salakia.
They so broke. Go ahead, Alex.
I see a comment in the chat
Okay.
from Carmen Jones, and it says, "And men must be willing to give up fleshly desires, and also give Yah the complete control by listening to His direction. What is a man without God?" Right? That is a true statement. But if I'm to be presumptuous, if I'm to guess what's behind it, right? She's referring to a man's, you know, wanting to acquire sexual pleasure. Would I be wrong, Chief?
It sounds like that's what the sister's referring to.
Right, kind.
So what do you
Now,
feel about that?
this is what I want to say, right? The way a man, see, there's a reason why men, you know, gravitate more to the truth than women do. Because it's more natural for a man to understand things like duty and honor, all right? Those are things that really, they don't have a reward, right? A duty is something you do because you're supposed to do it, right? Having honor is doing things for yourself, for your namesake, right? Now, if it wasn't for a man's sexual desire, the way a lot of these sisters be acting, do you think any man would deal with them? There's a reason why men are wired the way they are. There's a reason why the Most High lay down rules that men must abide by after dealing with a woman, all right? Because He made our eyes like this. He made the woman shape appealing to the man's eyes. If y'all following what I'm saying. We are created to gaze, created to look and admire that creation. A man loveth nothing better.
God, I was just saying,
Right?
I was just saying it to the brother.
Right? And, you know, women don't realize that, you know, it's really not, oh, we have so much in common. It's not that, you know, it's because he is sexually attracted to you.
Real talk.
Right? He is sexually attracted to you. That's why he is with you. That's why he wants you. And that's why he will protect you. And that's why he will die for you. That's why.
People talk about putting the Most High first. That's a different relationship.
Right.
Right? The Most High is not my wife. All right? Let's get that straight. Right? They don't even belong in the same sentence. Right? You put the Father first because He is your God. That means all you mean that He is the source of all that you are. Your wife, on the other hand, is something you want, you desire. She's that sugar plum, that pound cake, that muffin top, that
Baby cakes. Yeah.
Right? Right? She's
Oh, Lord, mercy, buddy,
you know what I'm talking about?
Turkey tassel?
She the turkey tassel, right? She the jerk chicken. She the oxtail. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You get excited. You go, man, ain't nothing better than a beautiful woman. You don't even talk about my. Look at this woman. You tell me about my God. Listen, my God is in my heart, in my mind. He's the source of everything that I am, the center of the life. But my woman is for me. Y'all love me so much that he gave me that woman for me to have in my hand, for me to be ravished with. How you gonna tell me to give up my flesh and desire? I'm not giving up nothing. But I will put it under control. And I will be honorable with it. And I will be responsible with it. And I won't put it where it belongs. Right? I will put my flesh and desires where they belong. Because there's a time and place for it. But I will not get rid of it and put the Most High. It's like some people, I hear women say, the Lord is my husband. Hey, well, no, he's not your husband. The Lord is my husband. Right? He is your God. Right? Don't get him, don't make him something that he's not. Don't get him, don't make him something that's going to be in the flesh. If you need a husband, that's going to be in the flesh.
So like a chief.
Right?
Okay. So like a chief.
That's like a society that we live in that we want to. That's like a society that we circumvent. We want to just. There's no circumvent things. There's no this circumventing. Is the first instruction given to this man. Is the first instruction given to man and multiply. You men get these women. You men get these women. Right? And have some children. So that's Yah's will, his way. So that's Yah's will. He's educated us on how to do it responsibly. Right?
Salakia, can I be heard? Chief, just to add to what you were saying, right? You know, because guess what now? You know, a woman has a husband, all right?
You could hear me?
Salakia, can I be heard?
Yeah, Cap, you're good. You talk.
So let's say, for instance, a woman has a husband, right? Now the husband talking about he going on some fast for a month. He abstaining from sex and he doing all this. You think she gonna be down with that? You know, she want him to abstain from his lust. You understand? That would include you too. All right. No, because when it comes down to it, you understand, women deep down, they want to feel wanted. Men are created to want a woman. A woman is created to be wanted by a man in that manner. As soon as that's taken away, the relationship suffers. That's why Paul gives the example. If you go to fast, you have to go get permission. A man needs to go get permission from his woman that, listen, you know, I'm going to abstain. You know, we're going to abstain from the pleasure that comes with sleep for a while. You know, you got to ask her if that's okay with her. Because that's how important that is. Right? Now, women can sit up here and act like men are the only one with fleshly desires. That's not the case at all. 100% not the case.
Yeah, family, I want you to put a one in the chat if you hear me clearly. I understand I've been echoing. Put a one in the chat if you hear me clearly right now. And I'm coming through. Because I understand we had a little echo problem. Try to work it out. No, you're not on mute.
Oh, okay,
there's a little echo.
Okay, I think we found the problem, family. Put a one in the chat if I sound better now. I think I sound better now. We figured out the problem. Let me see who got the ones. Who got the ones? I'm hearing me now. All right, all praises. We back in the place. Slight echo. I heard from Ellie. I got some ones. Isha, I got a one. GW, I got a one. Ahab, I got a one. Richard, Kazaki, I got a one. All right, Samuel, I got a one. Okay, I'm in the house. All right, my cap, I got all right. So I don't know what part you missed. When I was running down the line of the sexual desire that man should have for his woman. He should have a lot of sexual desire for his woman. His woman should be a sexual sexual object to him. He should not be ashamed nor afraid nor confounded about how he feels about his woman sexually. Matter of fact, like the Big Cap was bringing out, we are made to want you and you are made to be wanted, right? And that's how we work together, right? We are made to own you and you are made to be owned, right? To want to be owned. I want to own you. You should want to be owned, right? Therefore, we working together, right? That's how this thing works. So what I was mentioning, she should be your pound cake, your sugar plum, your candy yams,
Right.
your breadfruit, whatever you want to call her. She is that to you. You want to devour her, that is a good thing, because that's what the scriptures says. He said we should always want to be ravished. Can you get that? Forever ravished in her love. Can we get that, please? Just so they don't think I'm talking out of my own neck. I'm just talking my own opinion. This is in the scriptures. How I should feel about my woman. Give me that. And also, ravished is Proverbs 6, I believe it is.
The book of Proverbs,
Yeah.
chapter 5, verse
5.
19.
Con,
Let her be as the loving hind
right?
and pleasant road.
And the loving hind and pleasant roe. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, bring it out. Bring it out. I want you put some bass in your voice when you say it too.
Right.
Come on.
Let her be as the loving hind. See, I gotta go.
Yeah,
very
yeah.
light.
You got to be like it was.
And pleasant road.
Go ahead.
Let her breast satisfy thee at all times,
Mm-hmm.
and be thou ravished always with her love.
So that's the way you're supposed to be living with your wives, with your woman.
Salakia.
You're supposed to be living that way. That's a happy
Salakia.
marriage. That's a good household, right? Every time she turn her back, you should be at it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that want to ravish her like that.
You gotta chase her around
Right?
the
You chase her around the house. She's outside. She run it outside. You run it behind her. That's how it's supposed to be. So I don't know what's going on in your house, right? But
Salakia.
our wives should not be. We shouldn't be sitting there being mad at our wives. If you're mad at your
Salakia.
wife, be mad at the white man. Spend your anger over there. But you sitting there, you pouting in one room, and she got her hands folded in the other
Oh,
room.
they can hear me.
Bring my out back in.
Give me 1 second.
Kind
Hold on,
y'all
hold on.
muting me?
My
Salakia, can you hear me?
Goes over here. We're gonna bring you back in a moment. We're gonna fix you up right a second. Give me 5 seconds. Right, but I'm gonna speak on it until I can bring my cat back in. Right. All right, go ahead, cat.
Khan, you can hear me? Khan, what you're saying is so powerful. You understand? Because I'm on Captain. I'm on. Please get Songs of Solomon 2 and 3. Right? Because you're supposed to want each other. You don't get with a man if you don't want him. A lot of women be making the mistake. They get with a man because he got some Jordans or his wardrobe. He got money, but all that don't make up for sexual desire. All right, you gotta desire him. All right, you got that, Cap? I can't hear you.
I got you.
2 and 3, correct?
Khan.
All right, Khan, I don't want Khan. You don't say that. The book of Songs of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
Songs of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 3. As an apple tree among the trees of wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with
Salakia.
and his fruit
Salakia.
to my taste.
Salakia, can you hear me? Salakia. As the apple tree. All right, listen, this woman, pull that scripture back up. All right. This woman reveres this man as the apple tree among the trees of the wood. So is my beloved among the sons. This woman has revere for her husband, for her man. She looks up to her man. All right. She holds him in high regard. You understand? And his fruit was sweet to her taste. That's important. You understand? You have to, you have to hold your man.
Could you explain what the fruit is?
Listen, that might be for soldiers class or high council. That might be that's for major council, Chief. You trying to get the YouTube shut down.
I just looking for some understanding, Cap.
You trying to get the YouTube shut down.
Let him to have understanding. He have an ear, man.
Right. But you understand, she loved what he got to give her. Right? Can I say that?
Cut.
All right. She love and appreciate what he got to give her because she hold him in such high regard. All right.
And that's let's go to some. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get DJ Baruch in the building. We'll get DJ Baruch in the building. We're gonna come back with some articles of people that people look up to. They don't know this. This wisdom you getting, the world don't know this. The world is in dark. Whether they've got riches, they got houses, they got property, they got everything, but they don't have this wisdom. This wisdom is something that changes everything. But I got my DJ. We're going to take a break. We're going to go to DJ Baruch. He's going to spin some of that truth music for you. And we're going to come right back with some of them articles. And we're going to check this nation. Right? Let's get it.
In 11, it's our clock now. All around the world, got it locked down. You see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world, got it locked down. Hey. Yeah. Okay. See them kings on the block. I know you see them kings on the block. Bringing out the word in every spot. Bringing out the word in every spot. Yeah. You see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world got it locked down. You see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world got it locked down. You see them prophets on the corners. 1611 got them on us. Spreading out this word like corona. Waking up our people out of comas. Yeah, this truth, they can't stop now. No matter what they do, we bring it out now. You come against the Lord, you'll be confounded. With that two-edged sword, you'll get chopped down. Hey, you see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world got it locked down. You see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world got it well. We pull up on them, they be thinking it's a drive-by. 40 soldiers creeping like a thief in a night time. Never leave my brother. If we rollin', we gon' all ride it. Ain't no greater love for my brother. My life up on the line. Hey, they gon' get this wisdom if we don't go out and teach them. Well, the prince of power, you heathens, is just a remake. He made down and kiss the ring. I'm picking slaves out for the kingdom. So I never know he be reaching. We'll be in these trenches teaching outside with them blicks. Hey, you see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world got it locked down. You see them kings on the block now. Bringing out the word in every spot now. 1611 is our clock now. All around the world got it locked down.
I want you to listen to me. I've been where you at. Just gotta keep fighting, you hear me? Of course. This shit ain't your fault.
Look, Esau on the winning streak, the center it don't reach his peak.
Birds of a feather flock together, niggas beat the beat. I can hang with him if he weak or if he elite. Micah 7:5, third sentence, keep your tongue discreet. I know those who run the streets, but keeping the commandments, all they need to feel is up to me. Yeah. And every time I fall, I feel like saying F for all, but I hear until you. I'm trying to be part of the story. Before the third world's war, I'm trying to see who for me. I really think about all the generations before me. Like, baby, is you for me? I really need to know. I ain't doing this for show. I'm really about this walk for show. And every time they ask how I keep going, I just tell them straight up, don't give up until you die, nigga.
I want you to listen to me. I've been where you at. Cause I gotta keep fighting, you hear me? Got to. Of course. Cause this shit ain't your fault.
Look, Esau on the winter streak, the city in Dorisha's peak. Birds of a feather flock together, niggas beat the beat. I can hang with him if he weak or if he elite. Micah 7:5, third sentence, keep your tongue discreet. I know those who run the streets, but keeping the commandments, all they need to feel is up to me. Yeah. And every time I fall, I feel like saying F for all, but I hear until you see the Son of Man in his glory. Like the third floor, I'm trying to be part of the story. Before the third world's war, I'm trying to see who for me. I really think about all the generations before me. Like, baby, is you for me? I really need to know. I ain't doing this for show. I'm really about this walk for show. And every time they ask how I keep going, I just tell them straight up, don't give up until you die, nigga.
A lot of us have assignments, we have purposes. God has set this race in front of us. A lot of us got certain things that we are supposed to meant to do. Remember, you have the endurance to run the race that is set before you. You got the angels, the great
Clash of the Titans, two Jakes will scrap. There goes the lightning, enlightening kin and foes. Divine info, you're searching those, stay connected like Metro. UCI, reverse curses in ICUs. Some scriptures keep the soul like fixtures. Solid, float tight, the spirit is gas. He that laughed for wheat at last. Scoffers really hurt my nerves. Serve fire like dessert. Praying for the saints, John Baptiste in the desert. Carrying my cross is worth the hurt. Cursing with hexes is birth. Chrome parts keep the law light. V-Long. Stay on, heathens really peons. Adhere till I'm beyond. Keep going, nigga.
Y'all about shim, y'all shop. Y'all about shim, y'all shop. Come on, man. Come on. Let's get it. Grab the back place. I got the staff too.
Produced by J.O.
Let's get it. I got 80 on me.
Got 80 on you?
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
I got the 80 on me.
Got the 80 on you?
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
I got 80 on me.
Got
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
80 books in the can.
1611.
80 books in the can.
1611.
I got 80 on
1611.
80 books in the can.
1611.
I got 80 on
1611.
80 books in the can.
1611.
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
There's 80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
There's 80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
There's 80 books in the can. I got 80 on
1611.
80 books in the can.
1611.
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
I got the 80 on
1611.
80 books in the can.
1611.
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
80 books in the can.
Let's get it.
Gonna hit the block.
Let's hit it.
I got 80 on.
I got the 1611.
I got my soldiers with me.
Y'all with me?
I got my soldiers with me.
My Akiums.
We come to bring the swerve.
LOZ.
We come to bring the lift.
Come on, let's bring it to him.
I got that 80 on me.
Got 80.
80 books in the can.
In the cannon.
Go ahead and give it to him.
Come on now.
We're dropping precepts.
Precepts.
So wake our people up.
Bring that out.
Taking every step.
Take the step.
Got your Howard with.
Got your Howard with.
Your Howard shopping with.
I was shopping with.
When we on the streets. And we out there preach.
Bring it out.
Trying to wake up a nation.
Wake them up.
That's stiff neck.
I know they stiff neck.
Gotta wake up our people.
Gotta wake them up.
Even if they don't care.
They don't care.
And I'm out there serving.
Serving, boy.
Put my brick in.
What you doing?
I got 8 in the cannon.
I
got 8 in the cannon. I got the 80 on 1611. Got 80 in the can. 1611. I got 80 on 1611. I got 80 in the can. 1611. I got the 80 on. Got the 80 on. I got 80 in the can. 80 in the can. Got the KJV. 1611. 1611. I got 80 on 1611. Got an 80 in the can. In the cannon. I got 80 on. Got 80 on. 80 books in the can. In the cannon. 1611. 1611. 1611. 1611. 1611. 1611. 1611. We got to go from the priest. All right, Brisket, so we can set up shop. Go ahead, shut up. Going from block to block. Block to block. Going from block to block. Block to block. We ain't care about the cops. We ain't care about it. I care for my people, man. Love my people, though. See East all around. Yeah, around. I'm gonna teach my people, man. Bring that thing on out. Come on, bring that word. Deuteronomy 28. We gonna show this curse. Show the curse. We gonna tear down the gates. Hell nah. And we're marching here. And we're marching here. We got Yahweh with. We got Yahweh with. And we're marching here. And we're marching here. Yahweh shy with. Yahweh shy with. Got them carrots here. Got them chariot hovering. They hovering over us. They hovering over us. Got no heavy yourself. Don't have yourself. Come on and follow us.
I pray to y'all that one day my people see them chariots spreading the word in them streets, but my people not hearing us. I pray that we make it through the fire. This word gon' take us higher, yes I know. I pray to y'all that one day my people see them chariots spreading the word in them streets, but my people not hearing us. I pray that we make it through the fire. This word gon' take us higher. I just lost faith. Yeah, I've been down bad. Nobody know who I am. Now it's time to be great. I'm on a mission trying to stay persistent. These demons can't get in the way. This is my Exodus plan. Trying to get next to the man. I know this world gonna keep me away from my vision, but I got these blessings at hand. Yeah. It's been cursed, now it's time to break it. Babylon, yes, I'm trapped inside with these wicked demons. I've been losing patience. I had the faith of a mustard seed. Now I gotta plant it right into my garden and watch it grow into a bunch of trees. Growth and prosperity, yes, it's something that I love to see. I cannot quit. Thinking back on the days I was misguided, yes, I reminisce. Now I know my heritage, I gotta cherish it. I'm trying to live. Yes, I got so much to give. We can't be saved until it's the end. I'm staying strong, I cannot switch. I'm hanging on, I got the grip. I pray to y'all that one day my people see them chariots spreading the word in them streets, but my people not hearing us. I pray that we make it through the fire. This word gon' take us higher, yes I.
That's what's up, them chariots.
I pray to y'all that one day my people see them chariots.
That's my family. Mosman War in the building, them chariots. Yeah, we getting back. Let me see. Let me look at here, man. Let me see if all my brothers and my sisters in the building that's holding tight with us, that's going into the late night with us, that we talking about it. You know what I mean? We gonna get this right, man. Because once we get these families tight and right, Esau is finished, man. Right. He really attacked our brothers and our sisters coming together during the Willie Lynch. You know what I mean? The destruction of the white husband and wife was one of the intricate ways to keep his slave populations under control, because he had to break that bond that was between husband and wife, right? And once he broke that, he knew that he'd have us forever in derision. He'd have us forever trying to, work on this problem and ignore the real problem, which is this oppressor, which is this sin and this wickedness, right? So, we're gonna get to. We got some articles. We're gonna bring up an article. Okay, the cap got something. He got something for us.
Khan Salaki, Captain, can you get Mark 3:27? Mark 3:27. And read down to 29. Now, Salaki, just read 27. I don't want to hold it too long. Just read 27.
The book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house.
Mm-hmm.
No man can enter into a strong man's house.
Right.
And spoil his goods.
Right.
except he will first bind the strong man.
Right. So just what Chief was saying. Just what Chief was saying. You got to first bind the strong man.
Mhm.
The man's job is to put a hedge around his woman, around his house. His woman is included in his house. All right.
It's like
For so like, can you hear me?
yeah, I just wanted to add on a little bit to it, just a little rice grain on it. Rather it be something emotional, mental, physical, financial, so different aspects. So I just wanted to add that little bit of it.
Come. All right. It says, no man shall enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he first bind the strong man, then he will spoil the house. Understand this, right? If anybody's to come into this house right now, he's gonna have to see me first. All right. My family, we already know this. We already have this plan. I'm meeting everything at the door, wherever it's at. Right. And guess what? Our enemy knows this. Esau knows this. All right. That's why he puts it in the minds of our sisters that they don't have to listen to the black man. There you go. We in the spirit. Right? Right? Esau puts it into the mind of our sisters that they don't have to listen to their husband. They don't have to listen to the black man, the Israelite man, the man who they're with. Right? They're looking towards some other man for authority. You understand? You are bound at that point, and that man can do whatever he wants in his house. Listen, they say happy wife, happy life. Listen, another man is running your house. Trust and believe that. Another man is running your home, and that man's name is Facebook. That man's name is Instagram. That man's name is Loving Hip Hop. Steve Harvey, right? Come on. You got it, minister.
I mean, he told you to think like a man and act like a woman. He instructed you to beat your husband at his own game, or whatever the case may be, which is the worst instruction he can give a woman. Try to take a woman out of her femininity is the worst thing you can do to a woman. She thrives in her femininity. She thrives when she gets to be what she was created to be, right? And when she gets excellent at it, that's when she's at her strongest, her fulfillment, and that's when she can't be touched. But when she's trying to be a man, chaos she creates for herself, right? And for all those that in the midst of her. So you see, I put this up there, right? What does it say? The black man's guide to understanding. The black woman's guide to understanding the black man. Now, I want to say something about this book. He's also another book out there that's called The Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. Now, this book sold about half than the other book sold because the women bought the other book, right? The women bought The Black Man's Guide to the Black Woman. They didn't buy Man's Guide to the Black Man because they're always thinking strategically, right? This book sold half of the yellow one, and this is by Shahrazad Ali, a sister that was tackling some of the issues that we established that was established amongst blacks. I want you to read just this. I put that started real quick. I want you to read something out of that book.
This is not new information. Practically all black men know that their ancestors were stripped of their names and religion while in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
But the reclaiming of these two important identifying features has never been paramount enough for him to address the issue on a national agenda.
Right. So everybody knows when we went through slavery, we lost our nationality, we lost our heritage, and things of that sort. But there's something else we lost, right? And that is the control of our households, the revere in the eyes of our women. You know, that was one thing that Esau has done time and time again, tried to replace us, replaced our importance. He uses technology. He uses political policy. He uses his 911, his police force, to replace what your husband should be for you. Right? Read on.
The question becomes, how can he reestablish his own culture or define his own identity while still clutching the European labels forced on him during his enslavement?
Okay.
It is an irrational thinking for the black man to continue to bellyache about his real identity. Without investigating what his real identity was before he was enslaved and returning to it, the only part of his cultural traditions the slave master allowed him to keep and maintain was sport and play under the auspices of singing and dancing, games and sport competitions, making jokes and playing the fool.
Right. So in this book, it's saying that the man had to go back to who he was before slavery to get this corrected, right? And he can't clutch on to European ideologies and do this.
Right.
He has to abandon them all. So when we talk about what the Bible says, for us, the Bible is not a religious book. It's not a book of, of advice or thoughts. It's our culture. It's who we are and how we should be. And if we really look at it that way, then it's not advice given in the Bible. It's instruction. It's your time capsule back to, you know, when things were good, when you had unification between man and woman in our households, when our women did value us. All right. And that is, it's prophesied that will come back, that is part of the time that we're living in, that's being reestablished on amongst us brothers and sisters that came into this truth. How are we supposed to interact as husband and wife, right? The father said he would make a man more precious than the gold of Euphrates. Why is he saying that? Because he know a man is going to be brought down to a very low estate. He knew that that's what's going to happen. So he prophesied that we're going to be put back in the estate that we're supposed to. And he also prophesied that the women would desire their men again, right? Not just for, you know, a love sponge, right? But for to survive as a tool of survival. Like they wouldn't believe they could survive without their husband, without a husband. There was a thought in our daughters and our young women's mind that they didn't want to dwell. When they got to a certain age, they needed to have a husband. They didn't want to go and further in life without a husband, right? There was a desire in Israelite daughters to bring forth seed and child and be with that husband and be that wife. I think his hand went up.
Khan. Can I be heard?
Khan.
What you're saying is so right and correct, Chief. And I can attest to the fact that, let's say, for instance, my daughter, right? When I get sick, it's like I cannot let her know that I'm sick. Cannot tell her that I'm sick because she will literally like break down and cry. She feels that fear that her protection is gone, right? And the day is coming, all women will know that fear, because just like you say, 911, right? The minute 911 is no more, we're gonna see exactly, you know, who is needed and who is not needed, all right? Priorities will be set in order that day the lights go out. You understand?
Absolutely.
Women don't put, protection, like they take it for granted. The society of 911 and cell phone and help is one phone call away. You understand? There was a situation that happened that, my wife called me. And this happened a couple weeks ago. My wife called me and I dropped what I was doing and I was on the way. And I told her to call the police, but I was debating whether I should tell her to call the police because I was ready to get busy. You understand? Women don't know how valuable that is to have a man in their corner that's ready to get busy for them. You understand? They take that for granted because what's happening today? Women will call 911 and the police will, black women will call 911 and then they will be the object of investigation.
That's right.
You understand? They will not be looked to be protected. All right. And that day, they will know how important it is to have a man that they can call where they don't have to ask. Because listen, my wife doesn't deal with folly. All right. So I know if my wife called me,
Real.
Right. You understand? So I don't have to ask too many questions. Just where you at? So, and women take that for granted. But as soon as the lights go off, they will know. You understand? As soon as the cell phone stops working, they will know. All right?
Well, absolutely. And so we got an article here of a woman that should know, but she has what they call a high value man. She has a man that's at the top of the echelon here in this world, in this society, and she still feels that she needs to be desired by other men. So we're going to go to an article here that my cap got, he brought this to my attention about, what was our little sister Aisha Curry? She's acting up. She's acting up right now. Let's talk about it.
Aisha Curry admits a lack of male attention makes her wonder.
Right. Aisha Curry, let me explain something. She is already a wife and she's looking for male attention. The lack of male attention makes her wonder. What does it make her wonder? What?
Is something wrong with me?
Is something wrong with me? How about you're married? How about you have a husband, which is Steph Curry, one of the sharpshooters in the NBA, and you're worrying about what other men have to say to you? You should not want the attention of other men. You should not be desiring the attention of other men. But because this society teaches you to get a husband, but it doesn't teach you to be a wife, it's normal, right? Get a husband. Don't worry about being a wife, but get a husband, right? Because now you have a husband, but you still want to be living single. Right. You want to be a 90s kind of girl in this in a living, well, however the living single thing goes, right? You want to be, thought of and still be, thought of, right? So, you want to be spoken for and spoken to, right? You have to let something go. Where's your sacrifice? When you was in the world, you were spoken to. When you have a husband and you are a woman of stature, you're supposed to be spoken for. And that's a difference. That's a change that is so much not accepted. It's so much fought against. She has a whole husband that she's worried about. Exactly. She's worrying about how she look. I mean, we see it all the time. Look at
that validation.
Kanye. Now, Kanye, he's a handful, right? However, he can provide, right? And he wasn't going upside her head or nothing like that.
And he loved his children.
He loved his children. He loved his wife, right? But he wasn't good for her image, right? Her image. Because as much as she have a husband, she still parading herself around, showing her assets, right? Her body parts, because because that's what she's known for, and that's when she gets her glory. So her having a husband didn't stop that, didn't slow it down. We talk about Beyonce. Here's another example. She's the queen bee. She's Baphomet. She's all these demons, right? She's the goddess of damn foolishness. The Baal Peor. She's Beelzebub herself, right? And she's still, right? She got a husband, but she wants to put out this persona, like the cat brought up. Cardi B, she's sweeping floors, she's changing diapers, she's doing what she need to do in the house, but she pushes that agenda. Whip wop, right? Same thing with Megan Thee Stallion, believe it or not, right?
She got a whole man.
She got a whole husband that she makes sure he got those biscuits and that how most they say the ratio to salt and sugar in the biscuits is excellent, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what is she pushing in the agenda? She's telling our daughters to what? Be a thot, be out there, get all the men, get all the attention from all the men. City girls doing the same thing with our daughters. All these people are enemies to the nation of Israel, to the nation of our people. What you got, Cap?
Like just to what you're saying, the validation.
Yes.
The pressure is on them to be sexy and to be desired. When they have a husband that desires them, that becomes not enough. You understand? At that point, you're ruined. There is no satisfying you. You understand?
That's a good point. You're ruined, man. You're damaged. Something here is not
right.
You will never be conformed. You will never be his wife. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Because to be his wife means that your desire is to him, right? You could bring that in Genesis. Your desire is to him, but your desire is not to him. Your desire is to everyone. Your desire is to be desired, right? And that's where we fail. And these people, why we mention these people, because they're in the limelight. They're in front of your face. They're the ones that people tend to emulate or try to pattern themselves because they seem to be successful. The most successful woman in this society is Oprah Winfrey. She don't got no husband. She ain't never conformed to nobody.
Well, I'll ask you a question with this, right? So what should our brothers and sisters that are striving to get into the point of marriage, how should they prepare themselves to be conformed?
Okay.
That's
Great question.
That's an aspect right there.
Great question. Great question. Let's answer it. All right, we beat the problem up. Let's get some solutions, right? Let's get some solutions. What did I pull?
I got you with Genesis already.
Yeah, give me the Genesis, then you'll give me Isaiah 52.
The book of Genesis, chapter 3, verse 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception in sorrow. Thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Right, so that's how it should be. Your desire to be a husband, and he
Isaiah
shall rule
32?
over you. Isaiah 51.
Okay.
And 1.
Isaiah chapter 51 and verse 1.
Come on.
Hearken unto me, ye that follow after righteousness, ye that seek Yahweh, look unto the rock whence ye are hewn.
Right, so he asked a question. How do we fix this? We got to go to ground zero. We got to look to the rock with which we were hewn. Where did we come from? What's our roots? What's our heritage? We got to seek our past, right? That's the only way to find the good way. The good way is in our past, right? Read on.
And to the hole of the pit whence ye are dig.
Come from the pit that we were dug out of. Read on.
Look unto Abraham, your father, and unto Sarah that bare you. For I called him alone, and blessed him and increased him.
Right. So the scripture is literally telling us we need to look at our forefathers, our foremothers, on how to be. And we gotta have rhyme or reason according to Torah of what we do and what we don't do. Right? And we gotta look to those that emulate these attributes. right? Very important. It said to look to Abraham and Sarah. Look at their relationship. The cap made mention of it. He paraphrased it a couple of times. We're going to get it now. We're going to go to Peter's, right? We're going to get it now. We're going to go to 1 Peter and look at that Sarah and Abraham, verse 6.
Salakia minister. Start at verse 1. Just hit verse 1.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him out of one, whose daughters ye are, as long as ye do well, and are not afraid with any amazement.
Now I understand. Some sisters might be like, well, my husband ain't no Abraham. Right? I get it. Right? Hold on. The cap is chiming in. The cap is chiming in.
Salakia. Can I be heard?
Come.
Chief, please break down the first verse. I always hit the first verse.
Let's do it.
Verse
Please,
1. Likewise,
right?
Ye wives be in subjection to your own husband.
Right.
That if any obey not the word, that they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
So the cap asked me to break this verse down. It says, likewise, ye wives be subject to your own husband. Meaning that the subject to your husband, meaning that before you do whatever you do, you consult your husband first. And you don't be secretive about it. You want to be out front about it. You actually want to adorn this behavior. I mean, adorn means to wear this behavior. You want to show yourself being for your husband, right? So that other women can see your example and learn from your actions. You don't always have to tell somebody what to do and what to do. They can just watch you, right? And they can see, look how she deals with her husband. Look at the behavior towards her husband. She loves her husband. When you see a woman that's subject to her husband, all you can say is, damn, she really loves her husband. She makes sure he all right. She makes sure he got what he needs, right? And when they see this and they hear your conversation about your household and the interaction with their husband, they will be encouraged to do so also, right? They'll be encouraged to follow suit. Read on, because what did they behold?
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
Right. While they heard your conversation, that was what? That was chaste, meaning that you wasn't raunchy. You wasn't trying to big up your I brought up earlier, your WAP or whatever is going on with you, right? WAP. You were about your goodness and the togetherness that you have in your house. So they heard your conversation and it was coupled with fear of the Most High, fear to lose this, fear to do wrong, fear to break this bond that you have. They hear that in your speech and they go, man, she loves her husband. She's afraid to lose her husband. She's afraid to lose her household. She's afraid to disappoint her God. Right? Read on.
Whose adorning, let it not be that outward adorning of plaiting of the hair, so like plaiting the hair, and of wearing of gold, or of putting on of apparel.
Right. So people read this, they say, oh, I can't plait my hair, I can't wear gold, I can't put on costly apparel. That's not what it's saying. It says you're adorning. What does it mean you're adorning? What you show off. What's so important to you? What do you like somebody will come in and the first thing a sister will say to a sister, oh, I like your bag. Right? Now the sister could have came in humble with her husband in order, but oh, look at my Louis Vuitton bag or whatever, my Gucci's, right? That's your adorning can't be about that. Oh, look at my hairstyle. No, look at my life. Look at my marriage, right? Right? Look at my order. That's your adorning. Cap, your hand went up.
Khan, and to your point, where Abraham is our example and Sarah is the example of our wives, every woman is not blessed to have an Abraham, right? But verse 1 gives the woman instruction on how to deal with that in that manner, right? Because it says, that they also may, without the word, may be won by conversation of the wise.
Right.
That mouth, you understand, can make a man feel so strong to go conquer cities and countries and nations. You understand? And let the chips fall where they may. We see that example with Abigail.
Yes.
Right? Where her husband was dealing foolishly with David. You understand? And through that whole ordeal, Abigail did not, dishonor her husband, even though, he was foolish. She did not dishonor him or belittle him. You understand? And the chips fell where they fell. The Most High took care of her. The Most High handled the situation. That's the faith we all need to have. Listen, the Lord fight my battles. You understand? I do what the Most High entrusts me to do. He puts in my hand to do, and I don't go above and beyond that because I have faith in the Most High. Women need to have faith in the Most High, that being in subjection to their husband will bring peace to their life.
I mean, the scriptures ask the question, has anyone that trusted in the Most High have been forsaken?
Right.
And you trust in the Most High, you will not be forsaken. That's an excellent point, Captain. And it's very important that we remember that Yah is a living power. He's not a power that used to be. He's a power that is, right? When we say Yahweh, right, we're saying he is. That's what Yahweh means. He is, right? And if we believe he is, then he sees your current situation. So you don't have to be a God, your own God. Let Yahweh be your God. Let the Most High be your God. You don't have to be your God. Turn to your God. Plead with your God, but let your God do his work. So what the cap is bringing out is, I mean, that's just heavy. That yes, Abigail,
and that's what the society pushes.
He said, yes, my husband Nabal is how his name sounds, right? But she let him know, yes, my husband is a fool. But she pleaded for her husband's life. She pleaded that David would spare her husband's life. He didn't say, yeah, get that fool. He's a pain in my neck too. She didn't say that, right? She said, yes, his name is Nabal, and he is foolish. However, be merciful and kind, right? Right? She called for the kindness of David. Read that.
Book of Sirach, chapter 2 and verse 10. Look at the generations of old and see. Did ever any trust in Yahweh and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
It's very important we look at that, because in times of despair, we want to take things in our own hands. We say, well, he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do, so that's why I don't listen to him, right? He wasn't a husband to me. He wasn't righteous, so I can't see myself following his lead, and that is not correct.
Right.
That means you're not his wife, because you have not conformed to him. If your husband lack knowledge, pray for him, right? Seek elders, seek those that have knowledge, and have them sup with your husband. Sit and talk with your husband. Build your husband up. Buy him some books if he needs books. Buy him a breakdown. Put the class on for him. Maybe you have a good class. You say, maybe let's watch this class together, right? Build him up. Don't throw him out, right? Because Yah's, you think Yah gonna give you another one, you might have another thing coming, right? Right? You have another thing coming, because Yah don't reward wickedness, right? He rewards wickedness, but not with what you want, not the way you want to be rewarded, right? He rewards wickedness with something across your back, not the way you want to be rewarded, right? You were born wickedness with something across your back. Cap. That's the way you want to hear.
Talking to me, Chief? I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I had muted myself so it wouldn't feedback.
I can't hear you. No, well, what you said was spot on. You understand? Listen, the same way in Deuteronomy, it describes the women, our women, as being as delicate that the soles of their feet didn't touch the ground. Right? Those delicate women weren't bucking up against their fathers. They weren't bucking up against their husbands. You understand? Men like, Nabal, everybody's not gonna be, the smartest or the strongest. You understand? But he is your man if you're with him. And you need to create the best situation for yourself that you can. And you exhorting authority over him is not going to help the situation at all. It's not going to help, right? Your best defense is doing whatever you can to make that man feel like he can go take on a lion for you. That's your only shot. That's it. Listen, I've made my peace in this world already. A lot of men's problem is that, they haven't found their purpose in life. What are they here for? What to do? What to do with themselves? Where are they going? You understand? And that's okay. But as a woman and you're with him, you chose him. You need to be with him. And that's according to the Most High. You are bound to that man. If you laid with him, you're bound to him as long as he lives. All right. So that only, makes it more important on the decisions that the women make in choosing a partner. You understand? Also, the men. It's very important across the board, choosing a mate. You understand? That's what it comes down to.
Right.
Choosing the right mate for you. Con, you back, Chief?
Con, he's here. He's actually having some technical difficulties as well. He's actually fixing that right now.
Con, I'm here. I'm listening to you, my brother.
Con.
What I was gonna say is, Cap, it's not what you do when in the situation what you do prior. Seeing Elder Muhammad, he said that. A lot of times people wait until they're in a situation like, why wait until you're in a fight when you could prepare when that day comes? You understand what I'm saying?
Learn how to fight. Right.
Right. Learn how to fight.
You can't learn how to fight the day of the fight.
Right. You do what's necessary
Right.
for it. So when it comes to a situation like that, I think it's so powerful that, if you're building or you're attempting to establish something, you show those traits or those characteristics that, okay, you're capable of doing this, or you can do this, or etc. Don't wait until you in it. Show that you can before you get into it. You understand what I'm saying?
So here's the thing, right? So proper expectations
prevent performance.
Is Chief coming in?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like I'm gonna say something real quick. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. If you prepare to be a husband and a wife, you'll perform well in that role. If you're not prepared, if you didn't take the time to count the cost to figure out what's going to be needed of you, what you got to do, don't be surprised if you're in the role and not prepared. Go ahead, Al.
No, Kun, that's spot on. Spot on. And that goes to the preparation that has to go down. You understand? Our women are not taught because you understand, sex is marriage is not taught. You understand? When you lay down with a man, that is your husband, because that is not taught. You understand? Women think that they can do whatever they want in their teens and 20s, and then they settle down in their 30s. But then they realize that they can't settle down in their 30s because they have been oversensitized. You understand? They're looking for the validation that they got in their 20s. They're not going to get that in their 30s.
Right.
You understand? The experiences they got in their 20s, they're not going to get that in their 30s. And the same thing with the men. You understand? Men think they can just go to women and just, have a ball, free play, but they get taught by, child support teaches child support is a cruel messenger. You understand? we quote Proverbs 17 all the time. Listen, child support is a cruel messenger. But listen, because I recently saw a video with this older woman that actually killed herself. She actually took her own life because she needed to be wanted by a man, and she was too old to get that. She valued that. You understand? I don't remember the name of the video off the top of my head. All right. But because she valued being with a man so much, right? And she actually blamed feminism and U2 movement for what has happened. You understand? And she came to the realization that, listen, life is nothing without a man. And we read in Genesis that the woman was created for the man. You understand? Khan, I see you back, Chief.
I mean, these are all strong points, and it is sad. So the sister Raphael said it's sad. That is sad, and that's why we're in the light. That's why this is called the light. That's why this is called the truth. So we can look at these situations and say, you know what? I'm not going to make that error. That's darkness. Remember, the whole purpose of the priest was to put a difference between good and evil, light and dark, right and wrong. That sounds simple, but it's on so many levels. We have to determine right from wrong and walk in the light, right? So I hope that every sister, every brother that's on here on this was tonight understands the purpose of this class, that it's not about who's better, who's worse than who, or who's better than who. It's about us walking in the light, us getting it right, because our salvation depends on it. We cannot love our God if we don't follow his ways. He requires it of us, right? So our sisters, we're going to do closing thoughts. We're going to run around the room, do closing thoughts real quick. I'll kick it off. To my daughters, sisters, wives, mothers, the message is that the men, the leaders, the leadership of this nation loves you and wants to see you do well, wants to see you thrive, wants to see you blessed in the marriages that you're in by you conforming to the will of our God and being a wife to your husband. Husbands, form up and keep your shape according to what Yahweh has put forth for you to be, and allow your family to be protected by your presence. Closing thoughts, Captain Amon.
I think my closing thoughts would be the word of the day is sacrifice. Whether you're in a marriage or whether you're not in a marriage, what are you willing to sacrifice to make that vision come to pass? Because not everybody's blessed with an Abraham, not everybody's blessed with a David, not everybody's blessed with that renowned man. So if you do have that man, you gotta be realistic with yourself. Are you willing to sacrifice? Are you willing to sacrifice and be that wife for that man? Or do you just like that idea of being with King David? Because realistically, not everybody not everybody was created and designed to be the wife of King David. A lot of you women would tell Malcolm X, go get a job. A lot of you tell Martin Luther King, stop preaching all that nonsense.
I can't put it with all this drama.
You would tell Moses, bring the people back to Egypt. It's realistic. We got to be real. And for those of you that's willing to be that wife, you got to think about it. Are you willing to sacrifice to be conformed to that man? So that'll be my thought.
Big Cap.
So, my closing thoughts would be, for men, and it's always to be ready to accept responsibility, be ready to plow when it's cold, right? Listen, my father always say, every day not going to be easy. At work, someday you have easy days, someday you have very hard, difficult days, laborious days. Every day not going to be easy, but you have to take them all in. And for the sisters, learn what it is to be content. You understand? To be content with what you have, be realistic with who you are, right? Because this world has done you a disservice by feeding you a fairy tale. And I'm talking to my sisters, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. I'm talking to my sisters because Esau is seeing this thing, Esau is seeing this thing and they're doing what they're doing. You understand? And the scriptures talk about when they set a trap for us. You understand? They dig a hole for us. They fall into it.
Fall in it. Yep.
Right. These are the things that we've been dealing with for years. And they've been dealing with it for a second. You understand? Don't be a pit that can never be filled. Right? Learn to be content. Men learn to accept responsibility. And I yield.
And that's the closing thoughts from the gates. We're going to close it out with my DJ Baruch, that's going to take you out. The water for all your support. See you next week. It's the Bring It Out Radio Show. I'm your Chief Minister. I got my Captain of Captains, and I got my Captain of Captains, Captain Bayah, and we're going to say shalom to the family. Yeah, that's my DJ Baruch. Take him out.
What? Yeah. Another one.
Spit so smooth, got you staring in a trance. See me with my tool, that's my Bible in my hand. I can make it where you at without showing on my skin. Don't worry, matter of fact, I can't teach it to your kin. It's a wrong the blues, my friend is a move. This here Eve's a Jew. I've got scriptures to prove. Turn around in the mirror, let me show you a fool. Better wipe your lens clear, I'ma take you to school. Bible say clear, don't do no killing. Versus edit this thing out, don't need no ceiling. Better waist up your shoes, better run for your money. Better wait for your cue, cause this is my shine, honey. Why she rapping on the beat? Like she some type of man. Oh yeah, rather spitting all this heat without a fan, I understand. I ain't no Meg Thee Stallion. Don't worry, honey, you'll stand without me shaking my derriere. I don't think they know who I am. Who I am.
something to somebody and you just didn't have the correct words for it. Yeah, this how I understand the Most High's will. Check it. Check it, check it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. You ever just tried to break down something to somebody and you just didn't have the correct words for it? Yeah. This how I understand the Most High's will. Check it. Check it, check it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Teacher, please give me some instructions. This assignment a bit harder than the others. Why can't I get it? Understand that I need help with it. Teacher say, remember what we did semester in the same concept. We did it a while ago. Flip back to the lessons and see just how it goes. Matter of fact, I think you struggled a bit until you understand that. No, you can't understand this. Just follow my instructions to the T. You'll see it's easier than ABC. Don't play with it or find yourself mental thinking that your solution different. Pay attention. Problem comes when you work it different. Please, might seem right, but I beg to differ. You gon' switch up thinking it's a light thing. Like Spike Lee say, please do the right thing. Yeah. Please do the right thing. Okay, thank you for your dissertation. I don't see the problem if I get it my way. You trying to usher me at the end of the day, I get it. Trying to graduate with salutations on the 7th. I want to hear congratulations. Trying to cut these days in half, staring up my patience. I'ma ask Jay how he make it out of this one, yeah. I know he got something to say. Jay!
Yeah.
Jay!
Yo!
Over here!
What's good?
There goes my brother!
Yeah!
No, for real though.
Okay.
Let me ask you something before we go in here. We got a little assignment, and the way people